Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, now let me begin with a truth that shapes our journey in life. No one climbs to greatness without stumbling. Every setback, every failure, every fall is a doorway, a chance to rise higher than before. Can you see, life isn't designed to keep you down. The very essence of your being is resilience. When you fall, it's not the end, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Falling isn't failure, staying down is. I think about a seed planted deep in the earth. To some it looks buried, forgotten, but what's really happening is breaking open, pushing through the darkness and reaching for the light. Your falls are no different. They are moments to break open your potential, to push past limitations, and to grow into the fullness of who you are meant to be. When you fall, it's a moment of choice. Will you let it define you, or will you let it refine you? The greatest lessons are learned in the valley, not on the mountaintop. It is in your moments of falling that you discover the strength you never knew you had. Do not be afraid of failure. Failure is simply the teacher in disguise. Every great leader, every innovator, every world changer has faced moments of defeat. But they understood that the fall was not their identity, it was a stepping stone. They rose, and in rising, they rewrote the narrative of their lives. Let me tell you this, there is purpose even in the pain of a fall. Sometimes it's life's way of redirecting you to something greater. You may think you've been knocked down because of weakness, but often it's but a lot of persevere. And it's because life is calling you to develop a strength you didn't know you needed. So what does it take to rise? Men first acknowledge the fall. Pretending it didn't happen robs you of the wisdom it can bring. That can look inward. The power to rise is already within you. It's not in the circumstances around you, but in the spirit that refuses to quit. Third, take action. Even if it's one step, keep moving forward. Rising doesn't always happen in one leap. Sometimes it's a series of small, consistent steps that bring you back to your feet. The eagle, when pushed out of this, doesn't fall to its destruction. It learns to fly. Its fall activates its wings. In the same way, your fall is not the end, it's the catalyst for your flight. I challenge you today, whatever has knocked you down, whatever feels like it's over, look again. This is not the end of your story. Every fall is a chance to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs people who have fallen and dared to rise. Because when you rise, you give others permission to rise too. Your comeback will inspire someone else to believe in theirs. So rise from the ashes of disappointment. Rise from the weight of past mistakes. Rise from the fear that keeps you bound. Because every fall is not just a setback, it's a setup for your greatest triumph. Falling is not failure, staying down is. This simple but powerful truth speaks to the essence of what it means to live a meaningful life. When we face hardship, setbacks, or failures, it can often feel like the world has come to a halt. Plus, we may feel defeated, overwhelmed by the weight of our circumstances, and question our ability to continue. But in those very moments when we face the deepest struggles, we must remind ourselves that falling is not failure, staying down is. Every single person on this earth will experience moments of fall. No one is exempt. Whether it's in our personal lives, professional endeavors, or in our relationships, there will be times when we feel like we've fallen short. These falls can be the result of mistakes, bad decisions, external circumstances beyond our control, or even the weight of our own fears. But regardless of the cause, what truly matters is how we respond to the fall. The key is not in the fall itself, but in how we rise from it. The act of falling does not define us. It is simply part of the human experience. We can fall in many ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, or even spiritually. A failure can shake our confidence, make us question our worth, and leave us feeling like we are not capable of achieving our goals. But in these moments, it is critical to remember that the true failure comes when we choose to stay down. Falling is natural, something we all go through. The reality is when we fall, we often learn something valuable that we would never have discovered had we stayed on our feet. It's in the fall that we discover our true strength, our resilience, and our ability to bounce back. The ability to get up after falling is what truly matters. The question is not whether or not we will fall, but how we will fall, but how we will respond when it happens. Will we lie there defeated, or will we rise again stronger than before? That one of the most common reasons people stay down after falling is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. When we face a fall, it's easy to let these fears paralyze us. Yes, we may believe that our failure is a permanent reflection of who we are, that our mistakes define us, and that there's no way to move forward. But nothing could be further from the truth. Fear can only control us if we allow it to. The truth is, failure is not permanent and it doesn't define us. Our ability to rise, to learn from our mistakes, and to keep going is what truly defines us. Another reason we stay down after falling is the weight of regret. We often look at our past mistakes and wish we had done things differently, but living in the past does not help us move forward. That regret can keep us stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, preventing us from moving on and finding new opportunities for growth. The reality is that we cannot change the past, but we can change our future by how we respond in the present. Every moment is a chance to start again, to rise above our mistakes and take the next step forward. If we allow regret to keep us down, we are letting a temporary setback control our future. Sometimes we stay down because we are waiting for the perfect moment to rise. We think that we need all the answers, all the resources, and all the circumstances to align before we can get back up. But waiting for the perfect moment is another form of staying down. The truth is, there is no perfect time to rise. The perfect time is right now. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter how difficult the situation, there is always a way forward. It may not be the easiest path, but it is there. That you just have to choose to take it. The moment you decide to rise, you create the opportunity for new possibilities to unfold. Then it's important to remember that rising does not mean returning to where you were before. Sometimes the best thing that can happen after a fall is that you don't return to the same place, but you move forward to something better. Then when you rise, you grow, you become wiser, stronger, and more capable than you were before. Rising means embracing change, accepting the lessons from your fall, and using them to propel yourself to a higher level of growth and achievement. The beauty of life is that no matter how many times you fall, you can always rise again. Every fall is an opportunity to start over, to begin anew, and to move forward with a fresh perspective. The key is not to focus on how far you have fallen, but to focus on how far you can rise. The ability to rise is within each of us, but we must first make the decision to get back up. No matter how many times you fall, you have the power to rise. The question is, will you? The true failure in life is not the fall, but the refusal to get back up. Falling is simply part of the process, and it's through the act of rising that we find our true purpose. Every fall carries with it the potential for growth, transformation, and greater strength. The act of rising from the fall is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck in their circumstances. And remember, the power to rise lies within you. It's not about the circumstances that knock you down. It's about your response. Will you stay down, or will you rise with strength, determination, and a renewed sense of purpose? The choice is yours. Keep rising, keep moving forward, and never let a fall define who you are. Keep going, because every fall is not the end. It's a stepping stone to something greater. Resilience is within you. It's a force that lies dormant in every individual, waiting to be awakened by the challenges and trials that life inevitably brings. Often when we face difficulties, we may feel as if we are too weak, too fragile, or too overwhelmed to carry on. But the truth is, resilience is not a special trait reserved for a select few. It is embedded in the core of every human being. It's the ability to recover, to bounce back, and to keep moving forward, even when life seems determined to keep us down. From the moment we are born, we are presented with obstacles. Life is a series of challenges, some small, some large, but all requiring us to summon the strength to keep going. As children, we experience countless falls. That we stumble, we scrape our knees, we cry, but we always get up again. With each fall, we learn how to rise, how to navigate through pain and discomfort. As we grow, the nature of the challenges changes. The obstacles become more complex and the emotional weight can feel heavier, but the fundamental truth remains: resilience is within us, waiting to be tapped into. That resilience is often mistaken for simply toughness. People may believe that being resilient means having a hardened exterior or an unshakable emotional state, but resilience is not about being unbreakable. It's about being able to bend without breaking. It's the ability to feel pain, to experience loss, to confront failure, continue moving forward. Resilience is about adapting, learning, and evolving in response to adversity. It's not about denying your feelings or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. That resilience allows you to face the harsh realities of life, acknowledge the pain, and then find the strength to continue. Every person has faced or will face some form of adversity. Some will face health challenges. Others may struggle with the loss of a loved one, financial hardship, or career setbacks. Some will deal with emotional pain or relationship struggles. These experiences are universal. However, it is not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. Will we allow these setbacks to define us, or will we rise above them? Resilience is built in the moments when we decide not to give up. It's easy to give in to despair, to let the weight of the world crush us. But resilience is about finding the courage to stand back up no matter how many times we fall. It's about refusing to let one chapter define the entire story of our lives. The most resilient people are not those who have never experienced pain or loss. They are the ones who, despite it all, refuse to be broken. They understand that every challenge they face is an opportunity for growth, and that with each challenge they become stronger, wiser, and more capable of overcoming the next. So it's important to remember that resilience is not about perfection. You don't have to always have it all together, and you don't have to be flawless in your response to adversity. Resilience is about the ability to keep going even when things are tough. It's about accepting that you will have that you will make mistakes, and that you will face setbacks. But resilience gives you the power to persevere, to learn from those mistakes, and to keep pushing forward with the belief that better days are ahead. A key aspect of resilience is the ability to reframe challenges. When life doesn't go as planned, we can choose to see the situation as a catastrophe, as something that defines our worth or limits our future. Or we can choose to see it as a lesson, an opportunity to grow stronger. People who possess resilience are not immune to disappointment or failure. However, they have an innate ability to take what has happened, reflect on it, and use it to fuel their next step. They understand that setbacks are temporary, and that while they may not be able to control what happens to them, they can control how they respond. The human spirit is incredibly powerful. Think about the countless stories of individuals who have faced seemingly insurmountable odds, yet have emerged stronger because they refuse to give up. I think of people who have survived illness, abuse, poverty, or loss, and have used those experiences to help others. These stories are not just inspirational, they are testaments to the resilience that exists within all of us. What separates those who overcome from those who succumb is not their circumstances, but their mindset and their refusal to let life's challenges define them. One of the most important elements of resilience is the understanding that setbacks do not have to be permanent. Life is fluid, constantly changing, and what feels like the end today may be the beginning of something new tomorrow. Resilient people are not stuck in their pain. They acknowledge it, process it, and then move forward. They understand that life is cyclical, and even in the darkest times, there is the potential for growth and renewal. The pain they experience is seen as temporary, and they trust in the process of healing and transformation. Sometimes the key to unlocking resilience is simply the decision to keep going. When everything feels like it's falling apart, when the weight of the world is too much to bear, resilience is the quiet voice within that whispers, keep moving. It's the determination to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when the road is uncertain and the destination is unclear. In those moments, resilience is not about grand gestures or big victories. It's about the small, everyday decisions to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. Your resilience is built not just in the moments of triumph, but in the moments when you struggle, when you question yourself, when you face your fears. It's in these moments that your true strength emerges. The ability to bounce back after facing difficulty is what makes you unshakable. Life will throw challenges at you, but you have the power to choose how you respond. Resilience is the inner strength that enables you to not only survive these challenges, but to thrive in spite of them. Resilience is within you always. It's there when you need it most, and it will be there whenever you face your next trial. It's a strength that cannot be taken from you, a power that comes from within. No matter what happens, no matter how many times you fall, your ability to rise is already inside you. You simply have to tap into it and trust that. With every challenge you face, you will come out on the other side stronger and more capable than before. Embrace the lesson in failure. It's a concept that many resist, a thought that many try to avoid. Failure is often perceived as something to fear, something that signifies a weakness, a flaw, or a lack of ability. But in truth, failure is not something to run from, it's something to learn from. It's not the end of the road. Rather, it is a crucial part of the journey that carries with it valuable lessons. Failure does not define you. What defines you is how you respond to it, how you embrace it, and how you use it as a stepping stone to something greater. When we think of failure, it's easy to picture moments when things didn't go as planned. A business venture that collapsed, a relationship that fell apart, a dream that didn't materialize. These moments can feel like the world is closing in, like we are being punished for our efforts or that our hard work was in vain. But in these moments, if we can shift our perspective, we can see that failure isn't a reflection of our worth or our abilities. It's simply a message from life showing us what doesn't work so we can make room for what will. Child, one of the most profound truths about failure is that it teaches us humility. It humbles us and removes the illusion of perfection. No one is immune to failure, no matter how much success they have had. Even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks. The key to greatness is not in avoiding failure, but in learning from it. Failure shows us where we need to grow, where we need to adjust, and where we need to be more patient or more persistent. When we embrace failure as a lesson, we free ourselves from the chains of shame and regret, allowing us to rise stronger and more focused. Too often we look at failure as a sign to give up. It's tempting to believe that if something didn't work, it wasn't meant to be, or we just don't have what it takes. But failure is rarely an indication of something being meant to be or not. Instead, it's an opportunity to reflect, regroup, and learn. Success is not linear, and the path to it is often riddled with missteps, obstacles, and detours. Each failure, however, is a teacher helping us refine our approach, sharpen our skills, and grow in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise. I think of the many successful individuals whose achievements are built on a foundation of failure. The inventors, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who have changed the world were not immune to mistakes or setbacks. Thomas Edison, for instance, famously said that he didn't fail 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. He simply found 1,000 ways that it didn't work. His resilience in the face of failure is what ultimately led to one of the most groundbreaking inventions in history. If he had allowed each setback to discourage him, we would not have the light bulb today. Instead, he chose to embrace the lessons in each failure, and that's what made the difference. Failure also teaches us about perseverance. It's easy to keep going when everything is working out. When things are going smoothly and progress is being made, it's easy to feel motivated and determined. But when faced with failure, it's in those moments that our true character is revealed. Are we willing to get back up after falling down? Are we willing to keep going when the going gets tough? Failure demands that we rise again. It challenges us to dig deeper, to push past the discomfort, and to continue forward even when the road seems uncertain. One of the most valuable lessons failure can teach us is the importance of resilience. Life is full of twists and turns, and sometimes we face challenges that seem insurmountable. We may find ourselves knocked down time and time again, but it is in those moments that we develop the inner strength to keep going. Resilience is not about being impervious to pain or disappointment. It's about learning how to stand again after we fall. It's about knowing that no matter how hard things get, we have the ability to recover, to adapt, and to continue pursuing our goals. Failure also helps us develop self-awareness. When we fail, we are forced to confront ourselves. We are forced to evaluate our actions, our decisions, and our mindset. Failure gives us the space to reflect on what went wrong and why, allowing us to make adjustments moving forward. This self-awareness is critical for growth because without it, we are doomed to repeat the same mistakes. When we embrace the lesson in failure, we give ourselves the opportunity to become better, more thoughtful, and more intentional in everything we do. Furthermore, failure teaches us to let go of our need for perfection. So many of us are paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes, of not being perfect. We put off taking action because we don't want to risk failure. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. We can never control every outcome, and not everything we do will turn out the way we envision it. But that doesn't mean we stop trying. Failure allows us to break free from the tyranny of perfectionism. It encourages us to take risks, to embrace vulnerability, and to understand that mistakes are simply a natural part of the process. In fact, they often lead to the most profound breakthroughs. Failure is also a reminder that nothing in life is guaranteed. It can be difficult to accept that no matter how hard we work, some things may not work out the way we hope. But this is a lesson in resilience and acceptance. And life does not always unfold according to our plans, but it does offer us endless opportunities to learn, adapt, and continue moving forward. The key is to stay flexible, to remain open to new possibilities, and to trust that no matter the outcome, we are growing through the process. When we begin to view failure as a lesson rather than a defeat, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We stop fearing failure, and instead, we start to see it as an essential part of the journey. It becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Failure doesn't define who we are. It refines us, shapes us, and prepares us for greater things. It teaches us that success is not about never falling, but about how we rise after we fall. Embrace the lesson in failure, because in the end, it is through our failures that we discover the strength, resilience, and wisdom needed to reach our greatest achievements. Rising requires action. It's easy to get stuck in a cycle of waiting, hoping, and wishing for things to change, but the truth is, nothing changes until you do. The desire to rise above your circumstances, to reach new heights, or to overcome challenges is universal. However, the real difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies in the actions they take in the face of adversity. Rising isn't just about thinking positively or visualizing success. It's about taking deliberate, purposeful action, even when the road ahead seems unclear or difficult. There are many times in life when we feel defeated. We experience setbacks, failures, and disappointments that can make us question our worth or our ability to succeed. During these times, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the magnitude of the challenge or to become paralyzed by fear. But no matter how dire the situation may seem, the key to rising lies in our ability to act. It is action that propels us forward, even when we can't see the way ahead. I think about moments in your life when you faced hardship. Perhaps you encountered a situation where everything seemed to fall apart. It might have been a career setback, the loss of a loved one, a personal failure, or a financial struggle. In those moments, it's natural to want to retreat, to give up, or to stay in a place of comfort where we don't have to face the pain or discomfort of action. But rising from those moments requires a willingness to step forward, even when you don't have all the answers. It's about making the decision to keep moving, even when you don't feel ready or when doubt is clouding your vision. Action is the key that unlocks the door to progress. No matter how bad you may want to improve your situation, nothing will change unless you take steps toward it. Many people dream of success, happiness, or fulfillment, but too often those dreams remain just that, dreams. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for the right moment, for the perfect opportunity, or for someone to hand you success. But the truth is, those opportunities rarely come without action on your part. The moments you've been waiting for are created through the choices you make and the actions you take each day. If you want to rise above your circumstances, you must be willing to step outside your comfort zone and put in the work, even when it's difficult. Action also means taking responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame external factors, other people, circumstances, the economy, or even luck for your lack of success. But blaming others or waiting for things to change on their own will only keep you stuck in a state of helplessness. Rising requires a shift in mindset from victimhood to empowerment. When you take responsibility for your actions and decisions, you give yourself the power to create change. Yes, you recognize that you are not at the mercy of your circumstances. Instead, you are the one who holds the key to your future. Thus, one of the hardest aspects of rising is overcoming the fear of failure. Failure is something we all want to avoid, yet it is an inevitable part of the process. No one who has ever achieved anything significant has done so without experiencing failure along the way. The fear of failure can be paralyzing, preventing us from taking the necessary steps toward our goals. But failure is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. It is through failure that we learn, grow, and adapt. Every successful person has faced rejection, setbacks, and mistakes, but they didn't let those failures stop them. Instead, they use those experiences as fuel to propel them forward. Rising requires the courage to face the possibility of failure, and to take action despite it. Action also involves persistence. Rising isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process. There will be days when you feel discouraged, when the progress seems slow, or when the obstacles seem insurmountable. During these times, it's easy to want to give up or abandon the effort altogether. But the people who rise are the ones who refuse to quit. Even when things get tough, they understand that success is not a straight line. It's a winding road with plenty of bumps along the way. Persistence is what keeps you going when others might throw in the towel. It's the determination to take one more step, to make one more phone call, to try one more time, even when you don't see immediate results. Persistence is what transforms small actions into monumental success. Then rising also requires a willingness to adapt. Life is unpredictable, and the path to success is rarely clear-cut. Sometimes the actions you take may not yield the results you expect, and that's okay. Rising doesn't mean you'll always get things right the first time. It means you're willing to try again, to learn from your mistakes, and to adjust your approach as needed. The most successful people are those who are flexible, who can pivot when necessary, and who aren't afraid to try new things. They understand that the journey to success is not a fixed route. It's a series of experiments, adjustments, and recalibrations. Rising requires that you be open to change, to feedback, and to growth. Another important aspect of rising through action is taking consistent small steps toward your goals. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the big picture and to think that you need to make giant leaps to succeed. But the truth is, success is often the result of consistent effort over time. Rising doesn't require you to make monumental changes all at once. It's about committing to small, intentional actions each day that move you closer to your goals. It's the daily habits, the small improvements, and the persistence that accumulate over time to create big results. The key to rising is not in waiting for a single transformative moment. It's in the small daily actions that shape your future. That sometimes rising also requires reaching out for help. You don't have to do everything alone. Action doesn't mean doing everything by yourself. It means taking the initiative to seek support, guidance, and mentorship when needed. Rising can be a collective effort, and there's strength in building a network of people who can help you along the way. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, a coach, or a colleague, sometimes the action you need to take is reaching out to others for support. Connecting with those who have walked a similar path or who have the experience you lack, you can gain valuable insight and motivation to keep going. Rising requires action because action is what transforms dreams into reality. It's easy to stay in the realm of what if and someday, but those who rise are the ones who take tangible steps to make things happen. If you want to rise, you must act. There is no substitute for putting in the work, no shortcut to success. The most powerful thing you can do for your future is to take the first step, no matter how small, and keep going. That rise, not just in your dreams, but in your actions, and watch your life transform. Your rise is a beacon for others. Every time you overcome an obstacle, push through adversity, and climb higher in life, you become a source of inspiration for those around you. It's easy to overlook the impact of your personal journey, but the truth is that your rise can ignite the spark of hope in others. People are watching not necessarily with envy or judgment, but with admiration and a deep-seated belief that if you can rise, so can they. That you might not realize it, but your actions, your strength, your perseverance, and your success carry the potential to guide others to rise as well. Because when you rise from a place of struggle, hardship, or doubt, you are showing the world what is possible. Often, we think of success as a solitary pursuit, something personal and private, but the reality is that success is contagious. And so when you rise, you make it easier for others to believe in their own potential. You become proof that challenges can be overcome, dreams can be realized, and that success is not reserved for a chosen few. Because there's something profoundly powerful about seeing someone rise from difficult circumstances, whether they've battled personal setbacks, professional disappointments, or mental health struggles. It offers hope to others who might be feeling the same way, showing them that it is possible to turn things around and reach for something greater. It's important to recognize that the rise is not always an easy or smooth journey. There are ups and downs, moments of doubt, frustration, and even failure. But what makes your rise a beacon for others is the way you handle these challenges. Also, your resilience in the face of adversity is what lights the way for others. When you persist despite the setbacks, when you keep going when the odds are stacked against you, you show others that it's not about avoiding failure or never facing obstacles. It's about how you respond to them, how you rise after each fall, and how you choose to keep moving forward. Because your journey of rising can also serve as a roadmap for others. When they see you navigating through the difficulties, whether it's making tough decisions, seeking out opportunities, or adapting to changing circumstances, they learn valuable lessons along the way. Your rise can teach them that success doesn't come in one form, that there's no one way to achieve greatness. It's not about taking a perfect route, but about being willing to take any route, to adapt and learn as you go. After decisions, even the missteps, offer lessons to others, showing them that there's no shame in making mistakes, that mistakes are just stepping stones on the path to success. Then there is also a ripple effect in the rise. When you rise, you don't just benefit yourself, you inspire those around you to rise as well. Your actions can motivate family members, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. Then even strangers. It's often not the words we say, but the way we live our lives that speaks the loudest. When you rise above the challenges you face, others begin to think if they can do it. So your rise encourages others to step out of their own comfort zones, take risks, and pursue their own dreams. They see the possibilities because you've shown them that it's possible. You've given them the courage to try to fail and to rise again. In addition, your rise can help to create a culture of lifting others up. When people see you overcome obstacles and share your success, it becomes easier for them to believe that they too can rise without fear of judgment or comparison. This creates a sense of community where people can collectively rise together rather than competing or undermining each other. You lead by example, and that example spreads. The more people who rise, the more others are encouraged to follow. This interconnectedness in rising allows us to break down barriers, build stronger communities, and create a supportive environment where everyone's success is celebrated. Your rise is also a reminder of the importance of perseverance. There are moments when we all want to quit, when the challenges seem too overwhelming or the journey too long. But when you choose to keep going despite the adversity, you demonstrate to others that it's not the finish line that matters most, it's the journey. It's about learning, growing, and improving with every step. That's when others witness you continuing on your path, they too learn to push through the tough times, understanding that perseverance is often the defining factor between those who succeed and those who give up. That moreover, the authenticity of your rise can create a deep sense of connection with others. In a world that often prizes perfection, it's refreshing to see someone rise while being real about the challenges they face. It's easy to look at someone who has made it and assume that they had it easy or that their success came without effort. But when you rise and share your story, the struggles, the failures, the hard work, you offer others a blueprint that they can relate to. They see you not as someone who was out of reach, but as someone who has fought the same battles they're facing. Your vulnerability becomes your strength, and it encourages others to rise, not in spite of their challenges, but because of them. The courage it takes to rise is not just about conquering external obstacles. It's about overcoming the internal battles that often hold us back. Self-doubt, fear of failure, and a lack of belief in our own worth are just as real as the external challenges we face. That's when you rise despite these internal struggles, you show others that their fears are not insurmountable. You show them that it's okay to be afraid, but it's more important to act in spite of that fear. There, your courage becomes a beacon, not because you never feel fear, but because you choose to act in spite of it. It's this courage that inspires others to face their own fears and take action, knowing that they too can rise above their doubts. Lastly, your rise becomes a legacy for others to follow. As you rise, you not only impact your own life, but you lay a foundation for those who come after you. The path you carve, the changes you make, and the obstacles you overcome become part of the story that others can draw from. Those who follow in your footsteps see the possibilities you've created, and they are encouraged to rise as well. Your rise can set off a chain reaction, a legacy that is passed down through generations, reminding others that no matter how tough life gets, they have the ability to rise too. That when you rise, you are not only transforming your own life, but also lighting the way for others. You become a symbol of what is possible, a beacon that shows others that if you can overcome the odds, so can they. Through the perseverance, your authenticity, and your courage, you inspire others to take the steps they need to rise as well. And in doing so, you create a world where more and more people can experience the transformative power of rising one step at a time.